Hey guys, we have an anime channel called Mystic Sage, where I do a lot of anime stuff. If you like anime, consider checking it out. I will leave a link for that and for the most recent video I posted down in the description below and in the icon above. We also have merch on sale if any of these shirts look cool to you, like Shepherd's Delight. Go check that out in the description as well. I never thought Unova was going to end, because I hadn't done that best team in a long time. I'm finally glad to be back on track though with this series, and it's cool to start things fresh in Kalos with the best team for Delphox Edition. Kalos is a fun region because there is so much diversity here in terms of types and the kinds of trainers you face here. As for the team though, I can't exactly promise it's going to be super diverse because there are Pokemon that are very good at their job and will be joining us from the original Kalos Best Team. However, I can say you will for sure see some new faces though in terms of Kalos. But yeah, I think you guys will love the power behind this Kalos team, as it is a very familiar power if you have seen the more recent best teams. Unfortunately though, I have to talk about Delphox, which in case you guys didn't know, isn't exactly my favorite starter from Kalos, but hey, I can tolerate it. Anywho, enough of me ranting, let's move on to what a best team is before we start the actual team analysis. A best team is a team of 6 Pokemon that is designed for the absolute best performance for its said Pokemon game. The team usually revolves around a best starter, but since we're using alternate starters, our team of 6 will be revolving around Delphox, specifically for Pokemon X and Y. Each team member is designed to do well against certain gym leaders, the Elite 4 members, champion, rival, and the evil team leaders. In the end, we have a team that does well against all the most important battles in-game. When making this team, we do provide movesets for each of the Pokemon. We include TM moves, but we do not allow egg moves nor post-game tutor moves. So yeah, you know what's going down with this team? Let's hop right into it. Starting off this team, we have the obvious starter being Delphox. Delphox is actually decent in Kalos because its fire and psychic typing cover a lot of the battles we need done. It's also got a pretty well-versed move pool as well, so coverage for its weaknesses are pretty well covered. Not to mention it's got decent special attack and speed. Delphox was going to be the original Kalos best starter, it's just Greninja outclasses it in style, power, and diversity. Delphox isn't a bad Pokemon by any means for an in-game playthrough, but Greninja is still better. But I still think you guys are going to enjoy it for the most part. For a moveset on Delphox, it's actually pretty quite simple, but very effective. We have Flamethrower, Psychic, Grass Knot, and Shadow Ball. Flamethrower can be learned at level 42, and as for early fire attacks, the Delphox line can learn Ember early on, and then Mystical Fire at level 36. The other fire moves are physical, so I wouldn't teach them the breaks in, like Flame Charge. The next move is Psychic, and that can be learned at level 51. You can get the TM for it too, but I will talk about where to get that later once we get to another Pokemon on the team. Early Psychic moves that can be learned are Psybeam at level 18. Breakstone will learn that relatively early on. For coverage, we have Grass Knot, and that can be earned once you defeat Ramos. The last move we have is Shadow Ball, and that can be found in Terminus Cave. It's a pretty cool moveset that will guarantee you a lot of coverage. Have fun with the decent fire starter of Kalos. With these moves, the Delphox line does well against Viola's Vivian, Karina's team, Ramos's team, Clement's Magneton, Valor's Mawile, Olympia's Slowking, just be careful of its Power Gem, Wolfric's team, Malva Chandelure, technically Seabold's team, but that's extremely risky, Wixstrom's Klefki, Scizor, Aegislash, just watch out for Night Slash and Shadow Claw, Draznez Durgalge, Dianthus Hawlucha, Auroras, Gourgeist, and Gardevoir, be careful over Ghost type moves, Kalen Mercerina's Meowstic and Greninja, but that's not a good idea, Shauna's Chestnut, Tierno's Roserade and Crawdaunt, Brione's Bisharp, Mabel's Weavile, be careful of Night Slash, Zoroastic's Crobat, and finally Lysander's Mienshao and Mega Gyarados of Grass Knot. Delphox doesn't do actually all that half bad, to be completely honest. It's really nice for picking off individual Pokemon and even taking out a handful of teams by itself. The next Pokemon is going to be a very familiar one, being Aegislash. Honedge can be found over on Route 6 near Parfum Palace. In order for you to get the Dust Stone, you have to get inside of Terminus Cave, but I don't think you guys want to wait that late, so I recommend doing it this way. You can actually get one using the EV training method in the PSS. I will leave a link in the description below for how to do this process. This Pokemon not only was the MVP on the Kalos Best Team last time, it was also on the Universal Best Team. Aegislash has the ultimate typing of Ghost and Steel. That is a killer typing combination it has, and it has so many resistances and all the stats are just really good. It's a no-brainer to not put Aegislash on the team. I mean, for crying out loud, it has a good chunk of our important battles covered with its typing alone, and also resists a lot of the typings as well. 150 base attack and 150 base special attack. Like, what? Those are insane. Sure, it has to be in shield form to have killer defenses, but that's what King Shield is for. This Pokemon slashes everything in Kalos, and I'm honored to have Aegislash here once again. A moveset for Aegislash is pretty similar to our original Kalos team, being Iron Head, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Ball, and King Shield. Iron Head Pad is the best Steel type attack you can have in Aegislash, and that can be learned via Move Relearner. The Move Relearner is in Den and Middletown, and you can find hard skills by fishing for Love Disc. Shadow Sneak is a Move Relearner too, so just use the Move Relearner and the hard skill method again. Shadow Ball, like I mentioned earlier, can be found at Terminus Cave. King Shield is here because it's Aegislash's signature attack. To get it, you need hard skills. I will have a video in the description mentioning where to find them or where the Move Relearner is. I understand that some of these moves are difficult to find, but I guarantee it's 100% worth it. Aegislash will wreck through Kalos. I guarantee it like a Billy Mays product. One more thing though, if you don't want Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw is also just as good. I just wanted special and physical diversity. Shadow Claw can be found in Glittering Cave in its earlier access. Oh, and for another earlier move, you can use Rock Smash for Grant. Rock Smash will be here for a while for HM usage. I suppose you can use that until you get Aegislash's Still Stabs. With this moveset, the Aegislash line cuts its way through Grant's team with Rock Smash, Valerie's Mr. Mime and Sylveon, Olympia's team, Wolfric's team, Malvis Chandelure, Seabold Starmie, Wickstrom's Aegislash, Dianthus Tyrantrum, Aurorus, Gorgeist, and Gardevoir, Kalen Reserena's Meowstic, Trevor's Aerodactyl and Florges, Brianna's Bisharp, and Mabel's Weavile. While it may only affect a handful of teams across Kalos, Aegislash hits really hard and does well with what it has, which is a nice arsenal of Steel and Ghost type attacks. Coming up third on the team, we have the Heliolisk line. Helioptile can be found over on Route 9. To evolve Helioptile into Heliolisk, you'll need a Sunstone. That can be found over on Route 13. Heliolisk was on the last Kalos Best Team, and it was a very good Pokemon with its great stats, fun move pool, and awesome diversity it brought to the team. The unfortunate part is Heliolisk has a really bad normal move pool, as Hyper Voice can only be obtained via Aurus Move Tutor, so that doesn't work out. The reason I'm picking Heliolisk over Jolteon though, is because of move diversity. Jolteon, as most of you guys know, doesn't have that great of a move pool, and Heliolisk does. We need an Electro type though, and I think this is the best Pokemon for the job. With Heliolisk's moveset, we have a lot to pick from, but I use a very similar moveset we had from the last Kalos Best Team, being Thunderbolt, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, and Surf. Thunderbolt can be obtained from Clement after you beat him. Dark Pulse can be found over on Route 16 with the help of the Waterfall HM. Focus Blast can be bought from the Anastar City Pokemon Center for 70k, and the Surf HM can be obtained from your rival right before you head over to Route 12. And the last Best Team, I used Volt Switch and Heliolisk, but the problem with that was you couldn't find it until post-game, so I made a mistake in that regard. I'm sorry, you guys. With these moves, Heliolisk lights up Karina's Hawlucha, Olympia's Sigilith and Slowking, Wolfric's team, Malvis team, Seabold's team, Wickstrom's Probopass, Dianthus Hawlucha, Tyrantrum, and Aurorus, Kalen Reserena's Flareon, Absol, and Greninja, Shauna's Delcatty, Tyranno's Talonflame and Crawdon, Trevor's Aerodactyl, Aliana's Mightyena, Brioni's team, Mabel's team, Xerosic's Crobat, and finally, Lysander's Honchkrow, Pyroar, and Gyarados. Heliolisk really puts in the work and is such a great member of this team. As much as I love Jolteon, I'm glad Heliolisk got another appearance in the Best Team series. Way to go. What's weird about this next Pokemon is that it could have been on the last Best Team for Kalos, but we used Crobat instead. It shocks me because Hawlucha is actually a really great Pokemon. It's got such good stats and access to moves like Flying Press. The stats it has are 92 in attack and 118 in speed, and the abilities that Flying Press has is actually really impressive. The moves it has also just make it super great. You get it relatively early too over on Route 10. It's a little rare only being able to find it in the yellow flower patches and having a slightly lower chance, but it's totally worth it. Flying and Fighting type is also a very dominant typing across Kalos, nearly having coverage for almost all the gym leaders it does well against, which you guys will see much later on. It's a very good Pokemon though. It made the Ultra Sun and Moon Best Team and the Universal Best Team. It's good. Plus, not to mention, it also gets Fly, and this Flyer actually helps out with the team. I gotta say, I think Hawlucha is the best Flyer we've ever had on a Best Team. I underestimated this Pokemon so much during the Kalos era. Our moveset for Hawlucha is simple really. We got the basic stabs and coverages. Hawlucha will have Flying Press, Poison Jab, X-Scissor, and of course Fly. So the reason why I only have Flying Press on here as a stab attack is because it covers its typing of flying and fighting already. So you get a move that can hit it for both flying and fighting damage, which is really incredible. Poison Jab is here because of coverage against Fairy type Pokemon, and that TM can be found in the Shallow Pokemon Center for 10k. The next move we will be picking up is X-Scissor, and that TM can be found in Azora Bay after a bit of surfing. X-Scissor is here because of Psychic type Pokemon weaknesses. It will come in clutch, I believe, plus Hawlucha is also fast. The last move is Fly. Fly's HM is given to you by Professor Sycamore in Comarine City. Wish we had Rock Slide, but we need to be able to get around. With this set, Hawlucha presses Karina's team, Ramos' team, Clement's Magneton and Heliolisk. If you're feeling brave, you can take on Valerie's Mr. Mime and Sylveon, Olympia's team with X-Scissor, Wolfric's team, Seabold's Barbaracle, Wickstrom's Probopass, Dianthus' entire team aside from Gudra, Kalen Reserena's Absol and Greninja, Shauna's Delcatty and Chestnut, Tyranno's Roserade, Trevor's Florges, just be careful, Aliana's Mightyena, Brioni's team, Mabel's team, and finally, Lysander's entire team once he Mega Evolves his Gyarados. I should also mention that Stone Edge can also help out against a lot of flying types in these important battles as well. Now, while Hawlucha's entry wasn't really a mouthful to say, that's more so because I didn't have to list a whole lot of individual Pokemon, as Hawlucha can just take out entire teams left and right. Hawlucha's super powerful, and it's a real shame it wasn't on the original Best Team for Kalos. Well, we've at least rectified it here. Thanks for the hard work, Hawlucha. Coming in our second to last spot, we have a very familiar Pokemon to the Best Team series, being Lapras. Lapras, as usual, is going to be our surfer as well as our primary defense against dragons, which there are surprisingly a lot in this region. Lapras is given to you by a man on Route 12 and will be at level 30. Lapras' water and ice type combination serves it very well, and with the stats it has coupled, along with a pretty solid move pool, it makes a lot of sense as to why we would have it here. Now for its moveset, we've got the typical setup I'm sure you guys all know by now. Surf, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and Psychic. Surf and Ice Beam because of obvious reasons, whereas we have Thunderbolt and Psychic for solid coverage. Surf's HM is given to you by your rival near Route 12 after you beat Karina. Ice Beam is a level up move learned level 32. Thunderbolt's TM is given to you as a prize after you defeat Clement. And finally, Psychic's TM is found a little later in the game in the Pokemon Village. With this very familiar moveset, Lapras once again gives the cold shoulder to Ramos's team, Clemency Mulga, Olympia's Sigilith and Slowking, Malva's team, Seabolt's team, Wickstrom's Probopass, Drazna's entire team, Dianthe's entire team aside from Gardevoir, Kalimra Serena's Flareon, Altaria, and Greninja, Shauna's Gudra and Chestnut, Tyrannus team, Trevor's Aerodactyl, Aliana's Dredigan, Mabel's Houndoom, Zoroark's Crobat, and finally Lysander's Honchkrow, Pyroar, and Gyarados. I know sometimes we see a lot of the same Pokemon across a large amount of best teams, but sometimes that just has to be the case. It can't be helped that Lapras is as good as it is in these games. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it makes it to the Sword and Shield best team later on this year. Lastly, coming up on the team is Garchomp. Garchomp is back again on another Kalos team, and it still holds a lot of power being a pseudo-legendary Pokemon. I don't think I need to get into how powerful Garchomp is if you've seen Cynthia's or have used a Garchomp before. I don't think there really is much to explain. I will say though, do not Mega Evolve it. It is a waste of your time to Mega Evolve it because its speed stat is inferior to Garchomp's regular form. To find Gible, you just have to search a little bit on Route 13 right before Lumia City, and you should have no problem finding it. Garchomp's moveset is as powerful as it would be on a competitive one, so here we go. We got Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Crunch, and Stone Edge. Dragon Claw can be learned at level 33, and earlier dragon attacks are Dual Chop, which can be learned at level 24, and Dragon Raid is also another nice one if you want 40 automatic damage. Earthquake is great, it's the best ground type attack it can get, and the team for that, I'll obviously leave that video in the description because it's complicated for me to explain. Crunch can be learned at level 48, and that's for other Ghost and Psychic type mons. Stone Edge is there for coverage, and the team for that can be found near Frost Cavern after going down a waterfall. And finally, with Garchomp's moveset, it can put a hurting on Clement's Magneton and Heliolisk, Valerie's Mawile, Olympia's team with Crunch, Wolfric's team, Malva's team, Seabolt's Gyarados, Wickstrom's Klefki, Probopass, and Aegislash, Drazna's team, Dianthus Tyrantrum, Auroras, Gorgeist, and Gudra, Kalimra Serena's Meowstic, Flareon and Altaria, Shauna's Gudra, Tyrannus Talonflame, Trevor's Raichu, and Aerodactyl, Aliana's Dredigan, Brioni's Bisharp, Celoja's team, Mabel's team if you put Stone Edge on Garchomp beforehand, Zoroark's Crobat if you have Stone Edge, and finally Lysander's Honchkrow, Pyroar, and Gyarados. Honestly, it's a no-brainer that Garchomp would be on the best team if possible. I mean, the thing is so powerful that it outclasses its own Mega. It might be the very last member on our team, but as you can see, it makes a significant dent in this region's most important battles, and at the end of the day, that's all we can really ask for. Well, that pretty much wraps up the Best Team for Kalos Delphox Edition. I hope you guys enjoyed the team as much as I did building it. Again, I'm not a huge Delphox fan, however I can at least give credit where credit is due in saying that this team is actually very solid and shouldn't give you any trouble at all during your Kalos journey. What do you think of this team though? Would you do it any differently? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. I also have an anime channel called Mystic Sage where I create a bunch of anime speculations and reviews, so if you like anime content, consider checking that out. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like Shiny Hunting, Showdown Battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Brothers, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further doing game call perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm MysticUmbreon, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.